Welcome back, everybody, to Catching Up with Cassie J. I am here to bring you the final episode of the Teen Mom Young and Pregnant. I am kind of sad to see this one end. I really enjoy the Young and Pregnant girls. They're moving on to, I think, Teen Mom OG. I'm possibly going to review those girls. We'll see. Yeah, we'll just have to see. But nonetheless, I'm going to just jump right on into this. This final episode is called Putting Myself First. And I'm going to go on and get into Brianna. When it first started this season with Brianna, I was a little aggravated with her. And then I was really rooting for her. And I was like proud of her. She's gonna set me on a wave of emotions. Now I'm a little bit back to the original feeling I had with her. I'm a little bit upset with her again. Like, I'm back to how I feel about her from the beginning, because I feel like she's going back to like I felt like you really didn't grow this whole season. Like, you didn't learn anything. Everything I felt like you were doing, adjusting, lessons learned, you really didn't. So last week, her ex that I was saying that was supposed to be coming back in town to visit her was her old boyfriend. He's now going by the name Milo, but it was Danae. And her and Danae had a really volatile relationship prior. So now, he has grown and matured. So Brianna kind of basically feels that he's in a better place. I'm in a better place. We both grown. We can try to reestablish our friendship. Milo, Danae, whichever one you want to call him, I will call him Milo because that is what he is going by now, is coming to visit her. She did not tell her mom and sister yet. She didn't tell her mom and sister that she was even talking to him until it was like, okay, he's here. I'm going to go see him. Of course, they have reservations because all they know is what they had previously experienced with him. I can understand that, and that's the thing about being in a relationship. You're always quick to want to tell your family and friends the problems that you're having because, they're your support system. But you have to remember and take in consideration when you're telling them the problems that you're having or the issues or whatever concerns you may be having, flaws, faults of your spouse, partner. They're going to remember those things. They're going to remember those experiences. So whenever you decide that you want to work this out with them, continue to move forward, your family and friends are not going to forget or forgive as easily as you. So they're going to always remember that. So that's why people always kind of say, keep your problems between you two and work those things out. Unless it really is something that's serious. Because you don't want to make a habit of telling them every little problem you're having because they're going to look at them differently than you. Nonetheless, Rihanna went to go see Milo. He was renting a house while he was there. She took Bryson over there. I didn't really... A part of me was like, I was upset that she did that because I felt like, okay, you two are being friends or establish whatever relationship you're having. Okay, that's cool. That's one thing. But the last time he's seen your son, he was like a little baby. Don't keep bringing these men in and out of your son's life. That was issue I was taking with her on that. Even though, yes, he did know him. He knew him as a child. But now it's like, because of the fact that you have brought other men in the child's life and taken them out, I just feel like this could possibly be another situation that Bryson's going to lose somebody. Just see how things are going to work out between you two first before you bring somebody else back into his life. While her and Milo were talking, I already seen what direction it was going into. You're saying, oh, I'm just wanting to talk to you. Let's just see how our friendship grows. And I'm not saying I'm ready to date you. Like, I don't want to just jump into a relationship because I just got out of one. Remember, she just broke up with the other person, Jaden, just like a month or so ago or a couple of weeks ago. But I already seen that's what she really was doing. Brianna doesn't want to be by herself, and I don't understand because it was like, you spent all this time by yourself, so I seen that you were capable of handling being by yourself. Why now? It's like you just got out of a relationship, so why now are you back on this thing with I gotta be in a relationship, I gotta be in a relationship, I gotta be in a relationship? She tells her mom, sister, he's here. Milo wants to meet you guys to sit down and talk. And he basically wanted to apologize to them for his actions when he last seen them, because he was very disrespectful to her mother and sister. And he was like, that was wrong of me. I did not like the person I was back then. I'm not that person now. And I just want you guys to know that. And it wasn't for any other reason, I felt like, other than to let you know that I'm not that person anymore. And this is a part of me moving forward with my life. It's righting my wrongs. It has nothing to do with Brianna. It's just for me, regardless of whether or not me and her continue to develop this friendship, possibly getting into a relationship. I just want you guys to know that. But of course, her mom and sister was like, so are you doing this because you two are trying to date? If that's what y'all are trying to do next, because if that is what you're trying to do, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not for it. I don't agree with it. Like, I just don't think it's what you guys are needing to do. And Brianna gets mad. Like, when her mom and sister starts to question her relationship, she just blows up. She's, I have a right. I am grown. I can date who I want to date. You guys don't have a right or say so in who I'm supposed to be with. And I'm just like, they do. When you invite them into your life, people have a right to comment when you open it up. Stop opening the floor up for people to be able to comment on your life. And that was pretty much the end of that. And my advice to her really is, take your time. Don't continue to bring guys in and out of the baby's life. If you want to date Milo, that's great. That's fine. That's your choice. You have a right. No one can tell you who you can and can't love. No. But please, please, please be mindful and considerate and just think. Think. Kayla's her story moved along pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way she's grown this season. She was planning a birthday for Isaiah, a birthday party and stuff. They were going to go back to Illinois because they didn't want to stay where they were because there was no family there. Stefan is still acting like someone's doing him wrong. He's getting the short end of the stick. Kayla's keeping Isaiah from him, not giving him a fair chance. But you were the one that said that you've been working so much, you've been so busy, and you can't pay child support. So you're the one that's putting all these roadblocks and barriers in between you and your son. And then you turn around and say, Kayla, you need to jump over these to make it so that I can see my son. I am putting roadblocks, but you need to jump over them to make it possible for me to see my son. Not that I'm putting roadblocks in between me and my son, and I need to figure out the ways around these obstacles. It is you as the mother need to figure the way around my obstacles so that I can see my son. And I just feel like that's how he thinks about it. It's like, I have a life. My life is complicated. You need to figure out how to uncomplicate it so that I can see my son. It's not realistic. What was realistic was that you two talk to each other to work it out. But when you're not willing to meet her halfway with it, at some point a person just kind of gives up. And that's where Kayla is. She just kind of is done with it. Stefan sent her this long, hateful message. And she was reading it to Luke. And Luke pretty much just got upset and was like, I don't want to hear his name anymore. Like, I don't want to hear anything about him anymore. Like, he's dead to me. Like, I'm done. Like, everything you've tried to do to help him to have a relationship, to establish a relationship with his son, and he still has this attitude. Like, we're washing our hands of him. So they go back to Illinois for the party, and the families are there. Everybody's there. Luke's family, is accepting Isaiah as theirs. And it was a nice time. The whole day, Stefan doesn't even call or text to say, happy birthday, can you tell my son happy birthday? Can I speak to him for a minute? Because had he done that, then he would have known that they were there, and he could have tried to make some kind of arrangements to see his son. But he didn't, and that just goes to show once more, like, where you are with your relationship with your child. Even if you are working and other things are going on, you could still make time to shoot a text message, a quick phone call on the day of your child's birthday, if he is that important to you. So it just kind of shows what his priorities were. And Kayla's just like, I'm done. Like, I don't have anything else left to give. So it's sad because it's, you don't want kids to not grow up with a relationship with their parents, but you can't force somebody to be something or to do something they don't want to do. Rachel and Cody, they had fought last week, but Cody came back. They talked and apologized, worked things out. Rachel's mom told her that you need to get focused. You need to get your plan together. You have 9 months before this baby comes, so you might want to sit down and figure out what it's going to take for you to get your GED and to get your driver's license, because whether you realize it or not, you're about to be a mother of 2 kids. You have to be able to support yourself. You have to be able to get from point A to point B. You don't have the luxury of being able to wait for somebody to come and get you and take you around and take you and your kids around. You have to be able to get around on your own. So, Rachel just still kind of has this attitude, kind of like, oh, yeah, I mean, I know, but me and Cody have this figured out already. We've already discussed our plans. Cody and I are going to get a house because we know we're going to stay together. You and Cody are going to stay together. You know that y'all are going to stay together. However, you guys just got into a fight just a couple of days ago. And he stormed off. You two don't even know how to communicate or argue appropriately. So, you guys... Okay. But you know that y'all are going to stay together. And I couldn't get past that. That just blew my mind. Just mind blown. Y'all going to stay together. Y'all 16, 17 years old. The likelihood of that is very low, sweetheart. Especially with the way you run your mouth. Like you have diarrhea and shit falls out of it. No, ma'am. The plan. Listen to the grand plan. We're going to stay together. We're going to get a house. He's going to go to work. And I'm going to work part-time. I am not going to be a bum living in my mom's house. So what are you right now? You don't work, you don't drive, your mother takes care of you and your child. But every time somebody tries to tell you something that makes you independent and self sufficient, you fight it. So you're gonna be a bum in the house with Cody. Got it. Just as long as you're not a bum in your mom's house, that's all she's worried about. She's not gonna be a bum in her mom's house. That's all that matters. She'll just be a bum somewhere else. Moving along, that's the most I'm gonna get on her because the rest of the episode with her was sad. So that's all I'm gonna fuss at about Rachel. I just want Rachel to make better choices. Rachel ends up having to go to the doctor because she was bleeding and she ends up having a miscarriage. So everyone was upset. Everybody, well, not upset, they were sad. Rachel started feeling real guilty because she said that she had been considering getting an abortion in the beginning, and now here it is. She's lost her baby, and she kind of, I guess, felt like this was her karma coming to her for even putting that out there, that she didn't want her baby. So this was, God's way, the universe's way of taking the baby from her. And that's hard, when you think of something, you think bad on something, and you take it back and be like, never mind, I take that back, that's not what I want, and then something happens, you go through that guilt. And the doctor said, well, we'll get you cleaned up and they have to remove all the baby out of you. They have to remove all of that tissue and all. It's a lot. It's hard, emotionally, physically. It's just a lot for a woman to go through. So at that point, Rachel did ask the doctor, well, are you going to put me, like when they were telling her the process, are you going to put me to sleep? They said yes. And she said, well, while I'm asleep, could you put the IUD in there as well? And they said, well, we do have an upstairs, we can do that for you. I was very happy that she did make that decision. And I think that this happening to her made her realize, I'm not ready for another child, one, and secondly, I don't want to have to go through this again. And I know that not only was she thinking about the fact that she had thought about having an abortion, also the fact that when she had gotten to the fight over there with trying to get her friend from her ex, was this something that might have caused me to have this? And the doctor assured her that it wasn't anything that she had did. It was just, the baby just didn't take. It wasn't her, So that was some relief for her, because I'm sure all that was going through her mind. And I'm sure Cody was probably thinking for a second, like, you see what I mean? Had you not been running over there behind your friend and your ex, this would have never happened. We would have lost our baby. So I'm glad the doctor did let her know that it wasn't anything that she did. It just didn't work. It just didn't happen. So while she was waiting outside, she did tell her grandmother, she missed her. She had to spend more time with her. And she felt like ever since she had been away from her grandmother, she had been making bad decisions. And you could see the hurt on her mom's face, because her mom feels like she's trying to do everything she can to provide her the best life and help to guide her to make better decisions. But it's like, Rachel, no one can make you do anything. Like, you can lead somebody to water, but you can't dunk them in there and say, drink it. And her mom's face just looked like, I failed my child. And it was sad to see all of that going on. There was a lot of emotions right there at the end for them. Ashley and Bar. So Ashley is upset and over Bar, hearing about Bar being upset and his feelings about her going out to LA and dating and basically moving on with her life. She's like, well, I moved on. I went to LA. I had a good time. And it was because her mom was letting her know, well, he came here while you was gone. And he seemed really, really sad. And like, she's like, oh, well, I mean, he might have seemed sad when he was talking to you, but he was over there on, Instagram posting I'm all kind of hoes and bitches that he could think of. So he wasn't that sad. She was like, I'm over his feelings. I'm over trying to be considerate of his feelings. I am going on with my life. I cannot wait anymore. And like I had said before, Ashley really did tell him everything that she wanted him to do and needed him to do to be the man for her. And she said it again. She said, you just proved that you wasted my time. Because everything I asked you to do, to get a job, to get a GED, you haven't done any of that. You still haven't done any of that. He did get a car, but he has not gotten his GED. He hasn't gotten a job, so I don't know how he's making these car payments with this car. I guess the check from the show. So it's like, you're not showing me that you're changing or trying to change. So therefore, if we got back together, it will continue to be the same thing that it was before. So I'm going to be even more frustrated because I am doing better. Like, I have made changes in my life to be a better person and to provide a better life for Holly. And you are still in the same place where I left you at. And Bar was talking to some of his friends and just telling them, how he felt about her out there when she was out in LA. And Bar has this irritating thing he does. He flips out and he does all this stuff, but then when he sits down with his friends, he's just like, oh, well, yeah, I did spaz out, but, I really don't feel like that. It's like he won't show his friends the real him to an extent. Like, he won't turn up with his friends. He won't be on 10 with his friends. But when he get around Ashley, he on 10. And it's like, and that it makes me feel like that's why his friends just be like, Bar ain't that bad of a dude. Like, Ashley, it really be you. You be making him turn up like that. Okay. So when Bar comes to drop Holly off, Ashley confronts him about, we need to talk, because at the end of the day, we still got a co-parent, and you can't be out here saying stuff about me like that. You can't be calling me hoes and bitches and stuff. You can't do that. I'm still the mother of your child. And he was like, whatever, I'm done. I'm past that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. And that's the other thing he does to get us on my nerves. He feels that he can just say the stuff he want to say, like the whole thing with the DNA test. You can just throw that out there. You can just say it, and then just because you want to be over it, we have to be over it. Well, I said it, but now I don't feel that way no more, so I don't want to do the DNA test anymore, so let's just move past it. No, we gotta deal with that because you put it out there. She was like, like, what's your problem? Like, why are you doing all this? And he was like, you the one that was out there being a hoe. You the one out here taking my daughter around other people. And she was like, I did. And I told you that. Like, what is it? Like, he was like, so it just started back up again. And he's calling her names. And he was like, you the one that's over there, sleeping with dude. All you doing, you just messing with him for clout. You just trying to get some clout. She was like, clout? So she just stooped down to his level. She was like, and I'm going to keep fucking him. Yeah, it went nowhere. The conversation went nowhere. Her mom had to come out there and was like, Ashley, get your butt in this house. Because y'all not going to resolve nothing in this driveway. Come on in the house. That couple's not going anywhere. They going to be the next couple to sit down in some counseling to get some help. Because they're not going to be able to work out anything between each other. They just keep sweeping stuff under the rug. And lastly, Kaya. I feel bad for Kaya because Kaya is in love and Kaya doesn't want to let go. And I think Kaya doesn't want to have to start over and or be alone. So Kaya and Tiaja had broke up. Kaya is in the house crying anytime you bring up Tiaja. Her mom comes home and was like, have you talked to her today? And as soon as, she starts talking about it, she just starts breaking down. And her mom's like, you got to stop crying. Like, you have to stop crying. And she was like, no one is listening to me. You guys aren't trying to help me. And her mom gives great advice. She's been giving them great advice the whole show. And she basically was just telling her, you give Tiaja too much control over your emotions. Like, I shouldn't talk about her or bring her name up and you just erupt like this. So she said, I think that you two do need to talk at some point, but only once you don't act like this. Like, once you can control yourself and handle yourself. Right now, it's just not good. But she doesn't listen to her mama fully. She goes in and tries to talk to her. So Tiaja sits down with her, I think it was her friend, and just basically tells her why she left the relationship. Because they was like, you was riding with her for a while and you was sticking it out. And she was like, I did. I stuck it out for the baby, Amir. And I was just like, I wanted to be there because I felt like, the baby came out of me, but it didn't. And I just didn't want to abandon the baby. But she was like, after so long, with us just fighting all the time, we was really toxic for each other. They go, that toxic word, people, that's like the word of, seemed like the decade, toxic. I just had to let it go. And I had to put myself first. And that's what it boiled down to. She was like, we just weren't good together. So, and they weren't, when you would see them fight, they just level 10. Tiaja decides to agree to sit down and talk to Kaya. As she sits down to talk to Kaya comes out there with like a short sleeve shirt on, and Tiaja's like, are you cold? And she was like, yeah. So she takes her coat off to give it to her. And this small gesture, Tiaja's like, don't do that. Now you're going to be cold. And she's like, I'm fine. And it's like, that right there is a part of like why these two have a problem. She's giving you her coat. And clearly that means I'm okay. Like, I wouldn't give you my coat if I wasn't going to be okay. And you fighting her. So they sit there and Tiaja tries to explain to her where they are and why they are here. Like, this is why I left and this is what I want moving forward. I left because it just got to a point where we were just toxic. We couldn't even talk to each other. We can't have a conversation without it just erupting. Like, we don't know how to resolve conflict with each other. And Kaya just cuts her off. She was like, no, you're not going to sit up there and say that about us. You're not going to sit up there and say we toxic. You're not going to sit up here. And it's like, Kaya, she's talking to you. You have to be willing to sit and listen and take it in. It might hurt you to hear something, but you have to sit and listen and receive what she's saying because this is her experience. And I don't feel like Kaya wants to hear that. Like, she wants, and she said that to her mom, and she was like, I don't want Tiaja to be sitting there just thinking about the bad. Like, I don't want her just to be on the bad memories. And her mom was like, you have to let her move on. Like, you have to let her process it the way she needs to process it. She was like, but I don't want her just processing the bad. Well, if that's what your relationship was bad, then that's what it was. Don't try to make her think about only the good when that's not what y'all relationship was. Because then you're gonna be right back where y'all are together and then fighting. And so Tiaja was just trying to tell her, listen, we just not good together. We just not. We fight, we argue, we just don't work. And Kaya is trying to convince her, yes, we do work, but you not willing to put in the effort. You just walk away. You don't try to work it out. You didn't try to fight hard enough. Like, she is like telling this girl, you do want to be with me. You do need to be with me. You just got to do the following things and this will work out. You just got to work it out with me. And I'm just looking at her like, baby girl, let it go. If you gotta talk to somebody like that, if you got to tell them all of that, then that means it is over and done and dead. You should not have to explain to somebody that they need to be with you, that y'all are right together. They should know it and feel it and agree. And if they don't, then it's over. It's just over. It hurts like hell, but just like you met her, eventually your heart will heal, you'll grow, you'll mature, and you'll be in a better place, and somebody else will find you. It's gonna be okay. But you gotta let that go. You can't keep putting yourself through that to have these emotional breakdowns. And that's what ended up happening. She couldn't take it no more and then stormed off. That hurts more, staying in a state, than to get out of it. So I just want Kaya to get out of that state that she's in, that she's just stuck in right now, of trying to fix something that's already gone. So that was the end of it. I do hope that they do another season of the Teen Mom Young and Pregnant. And again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the Teen Moms OG. I think that's what they're going to do next. But we'll see, you guys. So until the next video, bye.